Is Natalie Camaro, Executive Director of Path Achieve Glendale.
Welcome, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Hello, thank you. I'm very pleased to be here. I first of all want to thank the Commission on the Status of Women for supporting the Domestic Violence Task Force diaper drive. We checked today and our count is 15,000 diapers collected as of this morning. So we're getting very close to our goal of collecting 20,000 diapers for families that are experiencing domestic violence and homelessness. And so I want to thank you, particularly Chair Devine, for your support and leadership in helping us with this effort. So I am here to tell you a little bit about Path Achieve Glendale. And for some folks that don't know, this program has actually been operating since the mid-1990s. It originally was known as Project Achieve. And in 2005, the operator of Project Achieve determined they weren't going to be providing homeless services anymore. What they had been operating was everything from street outreach to permanent supportive housing. And the city of Glendale was really bold and courageous in determining that they weren't going to allow the programs to entirely shut down. And so they brought in another agency called People Assisting the Homeless, or PATH. And what PATH did was create a new entity with a local board of directors. And so we are now Path Achieve Glendale. And the reason I'm telling you this is because our relationship with PATH is evolving. And this coming year, we'll be changing our name. So, but for now, we're known as Path Achieve Glendale. And I will tell you a little bit about what we offer now. Our goal is to end homelessness, one person, one family at a time in the greater Glendale area. And we operate a range of services. The biggest program we have is the Access Center, where we conduct, we have a street outreach team. We have 2 agency vans that go out into the community and talk to people who are living on the streets. In the winter shelter months, like right now, you'll see us out in the community working with folks to get them into shelter. At the Access Center, we also conduct the intake and screening and assessment to determine what each person's needs are coming into the shelter. And then depending on what their presenting need is, we provide them with specialized case management services. So that would include employment assistance, mental health services, family services. We also have substance abuse recovery. That's not on there. Let me go back here. We have a psychiatrist on site. We have mental health counseling, parenting education, and increasingly we're focusing on children's advocacy. We also have a nutritional counselor that consults with families as part of a project funded by Glendale Memorial Hospital. Our residential programs include an emergency housing program. It's our shelter. It's a 40-bed shelter. We serve families and single adults in that shelter, and people can stay there for 60 to 90 days. Transitional housing is a program for families. We have 12 apartments. What we do is we lease apartments out in the community, and the families live there. We provide a subsidy so that they can afford the rent, and we provide services to help them improve their income. So ideally, they could actually stay in that apartment at the end of this 2 years, or, if necessary, we'll help them find other housing. But the goal there is to get them to stabilize their income and be able to lead a normal life while they're doing that. So that program is also a very similar program as Rapid Rehousing. That program, is this too echoey? It is very echoey. Is it? Also, if I stand back, is that better?
You're good.
Okay, I didn't know if I could control that. Okay, so the Rapid Rehousing is also very similar. Again, these are apartments. There are 5 apartments that we have in the community. These are for families that are working or getting back into work. They were made homeless because of the economic downturn. And then finally, we support permanent supportive housing, and that's housing that's long-term, and it's for folks who have disabilities, and we provide services to help them stay in that housing. Many of the people that we serve are folks who have been chronically homeless. They've been on the streets. A number of them have been on the streets for many, many years, and we were able to work with them to get them back into housing and get the health care, mental health care that they need to live more stably. Whoops, wrong way. I see what you mean, Christine. Okay. I really want to talk to you really more about the women in our program, but we serve families with children. We serve adults that are under the age of 62. That's a barrier. That's the sort of the borderline, because at age 62 people could at least get Social Security. Folks that are unemployed under that age, it's really tough because we've got to get them into the labor market, and their wages often aren't very, very high, and so it's hard to find housing that they can afford. Often they'll have a series of different kinds of barriers to getting back into housing. They may have a chronic illness, they may have a disability, they may have legal issues, they may not have a lot of experience in accessing benefits, and so we have to be there and be present to help them navigate these different systems. Critical there, you'll notice also, is a history of abuse and neglect. We're not a domestic violence program, but the vast majority of women that come into our program have had an experience of violence in their life. Just for general knowledge, the City of Glendale does an annual homeless count. They'll be doing another one in January. In January of 2010, they found on a single night 428 individuals. That was a 13% increase over 2009. We're not going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to just sort of skip through, so you can see the level of disability among our clients in the Access Center. We serve anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 individuals per year. That includes men, women, and children. Of the adults, this is the number of folks that have chronic homelessness or are chronically homeless or have a chronic mental illness. We had 89 people last year. 51 had a chronic substance abuse problem. 22 had both a mental illness and a substance abuse problem. And we had 45 veterans in our program last year and 72 victims of domestic violence. So you can see there's a lot of need that we have to address and work with. This is what I wanted to show you. We have 29% of our girls in our program are girls. They're under the age of 18. Okay, and then we also, on the other end, we have a lot of older women. The end, you notice the end is 91. 91 is the oldest client that we have, but we have several clients in their 80s. We have women who've come in with their adult sons and daughters as caregivers. They're homeless together. And often they're frail elderly. What I wanted to also just talk to you about today, and the reason I think the Commission on the Status of Women plays such an important role in the community is this idea of ending homelessness. Our organization is committed to ending homelessness, but really the best way to end homelessness is to prevent it in the first place. But in our field, when we talk about prevention, we talk about prevention in terms of the rent check that somebody missed and we're going to cover. But when you really think about prevention, it's way more fundamental than that. It gets back to the kinds of choices people make, that the resources and personal resources they have to confront the challenges so that a problem doesn't become the crisis that ultimately leads to homelessness. So the work that the Commission does in focusing on the needs of girls and women, I think, is really very important. We have, I didn't show you here on the statistics, but of the families we have, they're predominantly single parents headed by women. We do have a few single fathers. Not many programs serve single fathers. But the reality is, when we're talking about homeless families, they're mostly single moms. And so when you look at if you take the stories that we see and trace backwards to what choices and junctures in their lives a different decision might have made for them, you can see, well, maybe it wasn't necessary that they got to this spot. So we're really on our end doing the triage, but if the community can work together in the interest of children and women so that they aren't economically disadvantaged, so that the options that they have before them are stronger or better, if you will, I think we could go a long way toward lowering the numbers of people who become homeless over time. So I think I'll leave it at that, and if you have any questions.
Commissioners? Questions? Natalie, can you tell us how you can use volunteers? Since this is the last month of our Year of the Volunteer, would you tell us how, if anyone out there is wanting to help you out and to help the homeless in this December month, how can they do that?
I'm going to go to this slide. We have wonderful volunteers, and actually tomorrow is Homeless Connect Day, so for people who are interested in volunteering and you have time tomorrow, I know it's a weekday, at 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll be opening up the Armory to serve folks who are homeless and provide them a variety of services. And that's going to be at the Glendale Armory, which is at 220 East Colorado. If for folks who are viewing and want to come, I would recommend getting there between, I would say either between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning for training and orientation. And what that will involve, what that volunteer commitment will involve is either escorting homeless folks to the different service stations. We're going to be set up so that they can go to Department of Mental Health or to the YWCA, or there's 50 agencies that are going to be there. So one role would be to escort people through that those different services. For year-round volunteer opportunities at Path Achieve Glendale, we have the guest chef program, which I know you're familiar with, and that's an amazing program. Every single night, a different group comes in, they buy the food, they cook the food, and they serve it to our guests in the shelter. And we're currently full, but we do have openings for breakfast, so if people like to get up early, they can come in and cook breakfast early in the morning. We have other opportunities if people are interested in projects. They're welcome to give us a call and we can see what we can figure out. We also have accommodated a community service hours, assuming it's not a violent felony. I guess you wouldn't do community service for violent felonies, so that's good. But we do also have community service projects too, because we're a nonprofit organization. So you can see that we have, our number is 818-246-7900. We also have a Twitter account, Path Achieve. I'd love people to follow us on Path Achieve. And you can find us on Facebook as well. So there's a number of different ways to connect with us, and we would be delighted to hear from the community.
Currently, Natalie, and I don't know, you might have mentioned this, how many are at Path Achieve today? Like if someone wanted to do breakfast tomorrow morning for everybody, what would they be looking at?
We have about 40 people in the shelter. Yeah, the maximum's 40. In the winter months, we will go from 40 and sometimes higher. We have small children; they'll double up with the moms in the bed. So, yeah.
So if anybody out there likes to make breakfast, I remember our assistant manager, Bob McFall, used to love to do that and go to Path Achieve and everywhere else in town, too, and and make his wonderful breakfast. So if there's anybody out there watching, that would be a great. I know I've gone down there and provided dinner. And I'm sure perhaps Commissioner Hunt has done that. Well, I've done that. It's absolutely fabulous, and what you get in return from the people that are there is absolutely amazing. It's a good thing to do. So I hope some people will copy down those numbers, 818-246-7900, and get in touch with Natalie at Path Achieve and volunteer. And I'll be there at 10 a.m. Tomorrow. Commissioner Hunt?
The cold weather shelter.
Yes.
Is not your program, is it? It's a city program?
No, we're
Can you explain how that
Yeah, I'll be happy
works?
to explain that. We are a subcontractor. It's called Imago is the agency that's operating the program. They're a subsidiary of the Union Rescue Mission, and they are responsible for setting up the cots. It's up to 150 beds or cots that are set up every night, and they bring in the food for those people, and then they have case management services. They subcontract with our agency to provide outreach and case management services as well. And I should add that one of the things that we do is we work with families that are placed in motels. And the challenge I'm having right now is getting local motels to participate in this program. We pay them. It's not free. We'll pay them. But we're having challenges in getting them to say yes. No one said actually no to us yet, but they haven't said yes. And so I am very anxious to do this because we have a homeless family tonight that's going to be in a motel, and the closest motel we can take them to is in North Hills.
Oh, for crying out loud.
And so yes, and the problem is that when they have children, and in this family I don't know how old the children are, but when the children are in school, it's really difficult. Going back and forth, not to mention the time of my staff to go back and forth when they could be spending that time doing case management services. So I'm continuing to work on that, but if any of you have any friends owning motels, please let me know. So,
Ricky, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalie. It's a privilege to work with you, and it's always a joy. So thank you for all that you do. Path Achieve. Great. Next, Ms. Babu.
At B, we have Mothers Against Drunk Driving, the Los Angeles Ventura County chapter. But unfortunately, this morning I learned that the speaker who was scheduled for this evening from MAD had a last-minute family emergency to tend to. And MAD sends their apologies for the last-minute cancellation and not being able to find a replacement at such short notice.
I really regret the fact that they aren't going to be here, because I really felt that at this time of year when there are a lot of parties and people are drinking and driving, that this would be a perfect time for a good lecture on designated drivers and watch how much you drink and don't drink and drive. So I guess we'll have to pass that on ourselves to you. So regrettably, they're not here. Sorry. Next item, Ms. Babumi.
At 3 is oral comment. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Time is limited to an amount to be set by the chair. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or discussion. Staff may refer the matter to the proper department for investigation and report.
We have one speaker tonight, and it's a friend of the commission, and she can have as long as she wants. Okay. Elizabeth Manasarian is here tonight for the Glendale Council PTA, of which she is the president this year.
Madam Chair, you may want to still designate the time limit just because you want to be fair
5 minutes
to other speakers.
Right. I was kidding. I was jest. 5 minutes, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Devine, Commissioners Hunt, Commissioners Walker, and Commissioner Danielian. It's great to be back here today. My name is Elizabeth Manasarian. I'm the president of Glendale Council PTA. And it's my pleasure to be here tonight because I have a very important announcement to make regarding the forum. In the summer, we decided that this year Glendale Council PTA is going to emphasize 2 subjects this year. One is advocacy and one is community. And by community, I mean going to different community groups and really partnering with the community and different things that we do for PTA and for our children in our school district. So as we discussed this issue with our board members, we decided to have a community forum organized just to educate people as to how the schools are funded through Sacramento, because many parents, many community members really don't know how schools are being funded. So the idea grew, and we talked to several other schools, school districts, and PTAs from Five Star Coalition. So now we have 4 other districts that have joined us. And actually, Glendale's Teachers Association, GTA, is also going to work with us, partner with us. GUSD is partnering with us. So this is going to be a true community effort to educate our public about school finance. And what the community is going to really educate people on is how California funds its schools. And what is the latest from Sacramento? Actually, we have someone from EdSource coming here and talking about school finance, and EdSource is a great organization that provides education to people of the community. And also, what is program improvement, the NCLB, and all the other laws that affects our schools. The forum is going to take place on January 29th, 2011. From 9 to 11 at the Pacific Community Center, and it's free to everyone, so we're expecting a very large turnout, and we'd love all of you to be there. Actually, this is my personal invitation to all the commissioners. And but there's one thing though, everyone has to register, and we have a registration for that. It's www.ptaforum.info. And you just need to go in there and put your information so that we know exactly how many people to expect. So again, we're excited to have this community forum about the school finance, and we invite all the members of the public, the community, parents, educators, teachers, school board members, everyone. Actually, I'm going to go to school board tomorrow as well. So that's about it. And I also wanted to specifically thank you for being a community partner with us. And throughout the years, you've worked with us and our kids at the school district, and Hands and Words Are Not For Hurting project. The Domestic Violence Task Force has started the Teen Violence Forum, which happened in October. And again, the Yellow Ribbon Week, which we've worked with the PTA in the past. the Girls on the Run program, which is on 5 or 6 campuses, if I'm not wrong right now, and Camp Rosie, which is a great, great camp, and the training for life skills and financial literacy for teenage girls. So thank you for doing that, and it's my pleasure to be here. So thanks.
Any comments or questions from the commissioners? I'd just like to say that I knew you would do well when you took on this position as PTA president, and I congratulate you. This is a great forum. And actually what we'll do is we'll announce it again next month, because we'll have a meeting before this, and so we'll announce it again for you, okay? And hopefully
Great.
you'll get a lot of people. This is a very important subject.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Walker?
Yeah, aside from the goal of informing the community about the financial implications and program improvement and so on, what is your ultimate goal in informing the community about the status of schools?
That's a great question. Of course, the main objective is to inform people about the finance. So the more people know, the more we can really emphasize and really look at the things that are important for our schools, as opposed to just answering the questions to people about the basic questions about financing. So that's number one. Educating is number one. Number two is letting them know that we are an advocacy group, and we are there in case they need to go to a group and they need to work with a group in advocacy terms, or work together for our kids. So actually introducing us and really informing the public about the school finance issues.
And do you have a question and answer session
We do.
built in?
We do. We have breakout sessions as well.
Do you have any legislative bills that you're supporting, or any other petitions or things?
Not that day. We do, but it's not going to be probably presented that day.
And how many of our schools are under program improvement right now? I know Glendale has a good track record in terms of its API growth and so on, but do we have any schools?
We do, and that's why it's important for you, for the public, to know what really is program improvement. And so there won't be any, misunderstanding about those schools. We have, I think, several, 3 or 4, if I'm not wrong. I'm not sure, but we do, yes. 4? 4. Okay, there's Commissioner Hunt. 4.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Next item, please.
At 4, under consent items, is the approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on November 8th, 2010.
Do I have any additions or corrections to the minutes? None? A motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Second. Commissioner Hunt? And unanimous consent.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
5 business agenda action items. 1 is the Commission on the Status of Women's Master Calendar of Events of 2010, and at A is a motion to provide direction regarding the calendar.
Are there any corrections or additions? Point?
I just have one. I don't know if this is out of order, but you're still showing the Jules Luncheon in March. We're planning it in May, so we need to move it to
Yes, my
May.
apologies of that change. Thank you,
Apology
Commissioner Hunt.
necessary. I just we need to move it to the right
correct
month.
it, right.
Yeah.
It will be fixed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Else? Next item. Do we need a motion to accept the calendar as presented?
At 2 is consideration and discussion of proposed themes for the 2011 special focus for the Commission on the Status of Women, and at A is a motion providing direction regarding the proposed themes.
Report,
Sure.
Mr.
Chair Devine, members of the Commission, each year the Commission selects a special focus and develops its programming to reflect the focus. And as decided by the Commission at the last regular meeting, elevating women is the focus for 2011. Based on direction provided by the Commission at that meeting, staff has brought back a list of proposed themes for each month that align with the overarching focus for the year. As in previous years, established nonprofit organizations will be invited to present information at monthly Commission meetings that correspond to the theme of each particular month. A majority of the themes that are being proposed do line up with already established awareness months or weeks that do exist. The following themes that are being presented are merely suggestions, and staff welcomes any changes that the commissioners may have. Would you like me to read through them?
No, I think we all have them in front of us. Had them for a while. So I guess what I'd like to hear from my fellow commissioners is recommendations to any alternate choices, or if you like what you see.
I like what
Questions?
I see. I think they're right on.
Commissioner Walker?
I like it too.
Mr. Donnell, okay. I think we've tried to narrow down the topics for each month and to focus on the, kind of the umbrella, under the umbrella of elevating women. There's no discussion. Do I have a motion to adopt the proposed monthly themes as
So move.
I second.
consensus?
Very much.
Item, please.
At 3 is consideration and discussion of Bully Me Not. At A is a motion providing direction regarding joining Bully Me Not. And at B is a motion selecting a representative for Bully Me Not.
Brief
Provide-
report, please.
Sure. Chair Devine, members of the Commission, Bully Me Not is a coalition of various community leaders and organizations whose mission is to bring together community forces to combat through education the devastating effects of bullying. About 7 to 8 years ago, a group called Community Action Against Bullying, also known as CAB, came together to address issues of bullying in the community. And recently, the Glendale Sunrise Rotary Club joined CAB and helped spearhead the newly formed Bully Me Not Coalition. Its members include many local organizations that the Commission does partner with. This includes the Glendale Unified School District, the YWCA of Glendale, and Neighborhood Legal Services of LA County. Currently, there are 3 major activities that are being planned by Bully Me Not, the first of which is a Train the Trainer Institute for educators and community members. This will take place over a 3-day span in January from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the GUSD Professional Development Center. The cost to attend is $225 per person, and the class is being taught by Sue Ellen Freed. She is a nationally known author and has trained in over 36 states. She has appeared on various news talk shows and documentaries. The second activity that they are planning is a public forum discussing bullying issues in the community. This will also be held in the month of January, specifically January 11th at 6:30 p.m. This will be held in the GUSD boardroom. It's a free panel that's open to the public, and the discussion will be led by Sue Ellen Freed, Melina Sardar of CAB and ARC Family Center, which she also does the self-empowerment programs for Rosie, and Linda Goodman-Pillsbury, former commissioner of the Glendale Commission on the Status of Women. The third activity that is currently being planned by Bully Me Not is the donation of a book collection to the Glendale Central Library. And so members of Bully Me Not are currently working to solicit funds that will go towards the purchase of books on the topic of bullying, and these books will be donated to the Glendale Central Library in April of next year. There are no costs or financial obligations to the Commission associated with joining Bully Me Not. Their regular meetings are held once a month on Fridays at the Glendale Hilton Hotel at 8:30 a.m., but at this time they are having more frequent meetings due to the upcoming events in January. At this time, staff respectfully recommends that the Commission provide direction regarding the Commission's participation in Bully Me Not, and specifically if the Commission is interested in formally joining and who from the Commission would be selected to represent. That concludes my report.
As we all know, there is a movement across the country to address the issue of bullying in our schools and where else.
Life, yeah.
Life. And I've been attending these meetings. There is no fiscal impact to the Commission to be a part of this Bully Me Not program. I would like to add, and this is kind of a commercial, because one might say, why would we want to be involved in Bully Me Not? And of course, that's an obvious answer, that everyone should be involved in this. The book program that they are doing, the public, or we can buy a book to donate to the public libraries here in Glendale. And I just happened to notice, I have the list, and two of the books that I'd like to cite for everybody tonight is, the first one is called Hazel's Amazing Mother. This book can be bought for $15.50, and it is for ages 5 through 7. When Hazel and her beloved doll, Eleanor, are set upon by bullies, Hazel's mother comes to the rescue in a surprising way. For a $15 donation, you can buy that book for the Central Library or Adams Square. There are 4 of them. The second one that really struck me, and this one is $23 for a $23 donation. This is for ages 8 through 9. Sarah tries to take care of her younger brother when he is teased by bullies and called Bernadette at summer camp. But he finds an activity that he enjoys and that gives him the chance to shed his new nickname for good. This one is called My Brother Bernadette by Jacqueline Wilson for $23. So for between $13 and $23, you can buy a book which will be dedicated in your name to this project and will be placed in the libraries. If anybody out there would like to send a donation for one of these books, we will make sure that your donation gets to this forum and the book to the library. So we'll let you send it to Ms. Baboumian at City Hall, and that will be part of our contribution. The forum is going to be fantastic. What we're asking you tonight, 2 things. Number one, we need a vote from the Commission as to whether we want to be a part of Bully Me Not. And if you have any questions, you can, let's take them now, and then we'll... Any questions about Bully Me Not? Hey, do I have... Commissioner Walker?
Does this program include cyberbullying?
Everything, yes.
And I move that we participate in Bully Me Not. I think it's key. Young women and women of all ages need to be aware of the ramifications of bullying.
Good. Now, shall we take a vote? Second?
I second.
And I think that's
Consensus? Okay.
absolutely for it. And would any of the other commissioners like to be a part of this, the representative for the...
At this point.
Okay, then I'll continue to be on.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chair, did you want to take a vote on that?
Sure. We'd want a motion and a second.
I move that the chair be the representative to Bully Me Not.
Second.
I second.
Unanimous?
Consensus, thank you very much.
Okay, and just in closing, I would like, because we will not be meeting before this date, but I would like to ask everyone to put down on their calendars January 11th, 6:30 at the Glendale Unified School Board room on Jackson. Sue Ellen Freed will be there. She's an expert on bullying. I think it's really important for mothers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, everyone to be there and learn about bullying, what you can do about it, how to recognize it, and perhaps we can make a dent in that problem in Glendale. And I do want to say that the Glendale School District has programs in place already, but they are stepping up and trying to do more to their credit. So anyway, January 11th, and don't forget, if you want to buy a book, just contact me or Ms. Baboumian. Next item. Mr. Walker?
Yes. Chair Devine, is it possible for the Commission to sponsor some of these books? Put it in memory of or care of the Commission on the Status of Women?
Sure. I think we could. Ms. Marpetian?
We can certainly bring that back as an agenda.
Okay, next month? Okay, we'll put that on the agenda. Next item, please.
At 4 is consideration and discussion of the date for the 7th Annual Jewels of Glendale Fundraising Luncheon, and at A is a motion providing direction regarding the proposed date.
Report, please.
The Jewels of Glendale is the major fundraising event of the Commission held to bring attention to the accomplishments of women in the city of Glendale. The nomination period for the 2011 Jewels of Glendale Award is now open and will be open through Friday, February 18th, 2011, and interested parties can nominate up to 2 women for consideration of the award. The proposed date that staff is bringing back is Thursday, May 5th, 2011. And based on direction provided by Commissioner Hunt, the chair of the Jewels Luncheon for the upcoming year, staff is in the process of collecting proposals from various different venues for the event that will be able to provide the most competitive rates while still meeting the needs of the fundraising event. And staff respectfully recommends that the Commission provide direction regarding the date of the 7th Annual Jewels of Glendale Luncheon. Thank you.
Commissioner Hunt, do you have anything to add to that?
Nothing except that I think May 5 is, I think we're fine. And if the places that we're looking at to get proposals from still have that date available, then let's go.
We've been penciled in, Commissioner Hunt.
Okay,
So it's
good.
just a matter of narrowing it down.
Okay.
Locking in a location. Definitely be brought back as an update for the Commission.
I did have one question, though.
Yes.
In your report, you say that interested parties may nominate starting now. How do they do that?
They can go online to www.ci.glendale.ca.us/women, plural, WOMEN. They can also call me at 818-548-4844 or email me at women@ci.glendale.ca.us, and I would be more than happy to provide an application. It's also going to be sent out tomorrow with the date of the event, hoping that we would be able to pin that down. So tomorrow, send it down with the date of the actual event on it out to our list of email list, and send it out as an e-blast.
Good. Okay. Thank you very much.
And for those of you that don't know, we are looking for Women of Courage. That is our annual award that we give to 2 to 3 women. And these are women who have overcome great obstacles in their lives and have come through the crisis stronger and better, and to become great role models for girls and women in our community, to all of us. So if you know someone like that, please nominate them, and we will give the award on hopefully May 5th. And we'll also have our scholarship, our GEM Scholarship Award, and those will be going out as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then we'll have a surprise special award for a Jewel Chairs Award, which will be given. Last year, we honored Genevieve Sultan-Fuss for her volunteer work in our community, and also because she turned 100. And I'm sure that this year we'll be able to find someone that's just as worthy of a special award. So don't forget to get the information on applications and send those in. Possible. Else? So save the date, May 5th.
Ms. Babumian, are we going to be putting like a press release, like for example in Glendale News Press?
Of course. Commissioner Walker, once we are able to secure the date and then in turn secure a location, staff fully intends to send out a press release to the city's public information office's list of all the local newspaper, including the Glendale News Press and all of the smaller local newspapers as well. And if any of the commissioners want a copy of the press release,
Please do.
by then. Okay.
And I assume that as soon as we firm up our location, that then the sponsor letters will go out, or have they already?
Once,
Yeah, we need all that stuff together.
once we are able to
Yeah.
have dates and locations, everything can go.
And I think at this stage of the game, there's no point in putting anything in the mail until after January 1st. Get lost in the shuffle.
But just remember that we are accepting applications for the awards. And, that will be open now through Friday, February 8th.
I I would suggest that we do like a separate press release for the awards. So just in case that we still don't have the date and the place, we can encourage a lot more potential awardees.
And the news press can run that several times in that
Yes.
in briefly column or whichever column they.
No other comments?
Madam Chair, were you looking for a motion on this item?
Oh, yes, I am looking for a motion on that. I have a motion to accept the date as proposed,
I
May
so move.
5th. Second?
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank you very much.
May
and thank you
5th,
for all the
2011.
feedback.
Put it on your calendars. Can't say that enough.
It's already there.
Great, yeah, yeah. Okay, next item.
6 is commission and staff comments.
Let's begin with Commissioner Hunt. Do you have any comments?
I don't really have a lot because I was, I was happy to be visiting my daughter in Honolulu last weeks, and but I did before I left make a donation to the diaper drive, and I did meet with Commissioner Devine and Ms. Baboumian with staff from Carol Liu's office to talk about the senator's goals for the year and I think we're going to dovetail quite nicely with our themes and our that we're trying to do as well. So it was a very interesting and productive.
Mr. Walker?
That this holiday season, as we celebrate with our family and friends, let us remember the less fortunate and participate in the spirit of giving. There's different collections for the needy, for children, Toys for Tots, and so on, just like that diaper drive that we are sponsoring. So we encourage the community to participate. And please have a safe and blessed holiday, and don't drink and drive or text while driving. Thank you.
Say one more thing.
Yes, Commissioner Hunt?
When we were talking about it was too bad that MAD couldn't get here, but remember that the city police department has those two separate spots in town, a turned over, looks like had been
Cars,
rolled, terrible,
yes.
wrecked-looking car on display with signs that say don't drink and drive, don't text and drive, don't talk and drive. And I saw an officer pull over a lady today. I was coming along, and she was pulling out to turn in front of me with her phone right up there, and right behind me was an officer. He just pulled her over like that. It was really pretty cool, I have to say.
Good for our police
Yeah, good for our
department.
police department. I knew they're doing a big drive. It was actually in the news that they're doing a big drive in Glendale
Yeah, they're
about
trying.
that right now.
Trying
So
very hard.
we're grateful for that.
Commissioner Donnellian?
I think, Commissioner Walker said everything I was going to say, so just to reinforce everything, I know a lot of people my age are going to be drinking and driving. It's common in our time, but unfortunately, so, I mean, as long as they're careful, get a designated driver, and yeah, I just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, so.
Staff, comments?
Would just like to remind the community that the Commission is currently accepting nominations, again, for the Jewels of Glendale Women of Courage Award, as well as applications for our upcoming student ex officio position. Both are up online. The deadline for the Jewels nominations, as mentioned earlier, Friday, February 18th. Student ex officio deadline is Friday, January 15th. So that'll give students time over the holidays to applications. Again, my phone number 818-548-4844, or visit the website at www.ci.glendale.ca.us/women. Thank you. Happy holidays to everyone.
And my final comments, as this year ends for the Commission, I hope that we have inspired some of you to volunteer. Through the year, we have presented several options, but there are many, many more available. You simply need to find your passion. As trite as it may be, it's better to give than to receive. So I challenge you to give your time to those in need. What you receive in return will amaze you. And with that, I want to thank all of you out there for your support throughout this year. I want to wish you and my fellow commissioners and staff a very happy holiday season, and we'll see you in the new year with an entire host of new programs. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
I adjourn this meeting at 7:25.